Hi everyone and welcome to Book Booth. My name is Rachel and today I'm going to reveal my top books of 2019. Now there were lots of books that I really enjoyed and I tried my best to narrow it down to about 10 books or so and tried to kind of rate them depending on which ones were my favorites. It was really hard to rate. These are not super definitive numbers because I had trouble rating books, especially when I enjoy a lot of them equally, but I did my best. I also have a few honorable mentions as well, but I'm excited to share with you what books I truly enjoyed in 2019. So let's start with some honorable mentions. I have 3 honorable mentions right now. The first one is Supernova by Marissa Meyer. This is the final book in the Renegade series, which is all about the never-ending battle of heroes and villains and superheroes, and it's so much fun, and it's one of my favorite series of all time, and it was a blast finishing it up. I'm sad it's over, but I really loved finishing up the series. It was fantastic. Highly recommend it. The next one that is an honorable mention as well is Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendare Blake. I absolutely adore stories that have to do with ghosts, and this one is no exception. This is about a murderous ghost nicknamed Anna Dressed in Blood. Is that all you need to know? Yes, it is, because it's fantastic. This one was so much fun. The last one I do not own, and I really enjoyed it. It's called The Crossroads by Chris Grabenstein. It is a middle grade ghost story, and it was super creepy, super fun. It's about this crossroads where there used to, back in the day, there was a really bad accident and a lot of people died, and there's like this vengeful ghost that's super creepy and terrifying, and it's just so much fun. I absolutely adore a good old ghost story, especially middle grade ones, because they are so focused on just the ghost story part, and it's so good. That's one I will hope to add to my collection at some point. All right, those are the honorable mentions. Now let's get down to my top 10 books. I'm going to show them in reverse order, so go from number 10 all the way down to number 1, my favorite book of 2019. As you can see, there's several books I've pulled out of my bookshelf because a lot of them I have up here, and I've got a big stack right next to me of about 10 books, and I'm excited. So let's jump in. At number 10 is Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake. This book is a surprise for me. I did not think I would like this book because it is very much royal political intrigue, which is not something that would interest me. But once I heard the actual premise for this book, I was like, yes, please sign me up. This story is about 3 queens that are born. Triplets are born every generation. And these 3 girls, once they become of age, they have to fight to the death to get the crown. That's pretty dark. And I was like, yes, please, let's do this. And I really enjoyed it. It's a very character-driven story, but I had a blast, and I highly recommend the series. It's a 4-book series. All the books are out, so you can just binge the whole thing, but I really enjoyed the first one, and it was a surprise for me, so I kind of had to put this on the list. At number 9, sorry the light keeps going in and out. I need to stop turning my head so much. It's making the light blur out. But number 9, The Assassination of Brangwen Spurge by M.T. Anderson and Eugene Yelchin. If you've been around my channel at all, especially in 2019, I mentioned this book a lot, so I apologize I'm shoving this book in your face again, but this is this really unique middle grade story. It reminds me so much of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and it's funny, it's witty, it's got a great message to it. Highly recommend it. It has beautiful illustrations, as you can see. It's got this really beautiful, just unique style to it, and it's so much fun, and it's a quick read, and I love it, and it's a great time. So, highly recommend this one. The next one at number 8 is The Dead House by Dawn Kurtagich. And this story, again, is sort of like this creepy paranormal story. And one of the things I loved about it is that it's mixed media. There's like video footage in it of people have written out video footage. There's diary entries. There's all sorts of just like mixed media. There's letters. I loved it. And it was really creepy. It had a great mystery to it. And this is one I feel like people need to try out because it's kind of under the radar. I haven't really heard that many people that have read it. I'm not sure when it was published, to be perfectly honest. Let me see if it gives a year or something. Give me 2016. So it's not super new, but it's not. Oh, wait, hold on. Never mind. 2015. The paperback was published in 2015. So anyways, it's awesome. If you haven't heard of it, jump into it. All right, let's move on to the next one. At number 7, this was such a darling for me for 2019. I loved it so much. And that is Sweep, The Story of a Girl and Her Monster by Jonathan Ausier. Oh my goodness, this is the most heartwarming, beautiful story. It takes place in Victorian London. It's about this little girl who is a chimney sweep, and one day she gets caught in a fire in a chimney and she thinks she's gonna die, and then she's saved by a golem that's made out of soot and ash, and they become best friends, and it's precious. It is so precious. It's heartbreaking, heartwarming, it's wonderful. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend Jonathan Ausier in general, but the story is just, if you want something good, do it. All right, now down to number 6. Sorry, I keep checking the list because there's a couple of them I don't own, so I want to make sure I don't skip it. Number 6 is Tunnel of Bones by Victoria Schwab. This is the Cassidy Blake series, and I love it. This is the second book in the series, and it is everything that I love. It is about a little girl who can see ghosts and talk to ghosts, and she's like a little ghost hunter, and it's lovely. It is lovely. Like I said, this is the second book in the series. It takes place in Paris, and a lot of it takes place within the catacombs underneath Paris, where you've got the Tunnel of Bones, where it's all those walls that are made out of like bones and everything, and it's super creepy, and I love it so much. It's funny, it's witty, it's scary. I love it. Middle grade's awesome. Love it so much. Please jump into that series. The first book is called City of Ghosts. I love it. It was my favorite book from 2018. It was my number 1 book. All right, next one at number 5, we have Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. This is the second book in the Diviner series, which is something I binged in 2019. The very last book comes out at the beginning of this year. I think it comes out in February of 2020. I'm excited to see what happens and how it's wrapped up. But this one was my favorite. I loved the storyline in this one. To me, it was the creepiest one. They're all very creepy, very dark, very disturbing, very paranormal, and it's lovely. But I love this one so much because it had these terrifying, like, vampire-y, like, zombie-ish creature things that, like, scuttled on all their legs, and they, like, ate people, and then there was like creepy stuff in dreams, hence what's called Lair of Dreams. I don't know. It's just super creepy, and this is one of those books I would love to see adapted to film or television or something, because it's so creepily disturbing. I'm like, I kind of want to see it. It would terrify me, but this one's good. I really enjoyed the second one a lot. It was my favorite in the series so far. All right, now moving on to number 4, and that is Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in the Renegade series, and honestly, I think it was my favorite. This is the one that gave me the most kind of reactions, like physical reactions. I remember gasping audibly and being like, no, on different parts and things like that. So this is the one that really just hit me the most emotionally, and this was the very first book I read in 2019, and it was so good. I loved it. So again, love this series so much. If you haven't tried it yet, please try it. I literally have loved every single book Marissa Meyer has put out. She is an auto-buy author for me. I've loved everything, and I cannot wait to read more of her work and to see what she does next. Okay, so now we're down to number 3. This is one I do not own, but I'm hoping to own at some point, maybe sometime this year, I don't know. And that is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. And this is a new sci-fi series they've put out, and I absolutely loved it. I love their writing style. It is so funny. It is so fast-paced, very high stakes. You just want to keep reading because you end up falling in love with the characters, you fall in love with the plot, and you just want to know where it's going to go. And it's so much fun. It's really hard for me to explain the plot of this series, but it's about this ragtag group of kids, honestly. It's a ragtag group of just sort of teenagers, 17 to 18-year-olds, who are all piloting this ship together, and they're going on space adventures. That's all I'm going to say about it. I could go into more, and there's a lot more to it, but I just adore this book. And the next book, I think, comes out in April or May of 2020, and I am so excited about it. I love this series so much. It's a blast. I really, really loved it. At number 2, this is one that I own, but currently my father is borrowing, and I'm hoping he really loves it because obviously if it's at number 2, I really loved it as well. And that is Illuminae, also by Amy Coffin and Jay Kristoff. If you haven't heard about the Illuminae File series, it's a trilogy and it is so good. It is written in a mixed media format. It's written in dossiers and instant messages and video footage and all sorts of, it's awesome. And it's extremely fast-paced sci-fi. I had a blast reading it. It's all about this planet that has been attacked by this neighboring company, and they're trying to escape. This company is trying to wipe them out, and there is a horrible epidemic as well as a absolutely psycho computer system. And if I'm not selling you on this, I'm sorry, but it is so good. It is so good. Also, I've heard the audiobook is amazing. I've heard it's amazing to listen to. I've heard it's like full cast, tons of sound effects. It's like, I need to listen to it at some point because, oh my goodness. All right, we've now gotten down to my number 1 book of 2019. And this one may not be a surprise because I've mentioned it several times and I am so excited to own it. I bought this for myself for Christmas because it was a top book I wanted for Christmas. And I knew if I didn't get it under the tree that I would probably order it for myself. And I did. I used some Christmas money to order it because I had to have it and I love it so much. And that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I adore this book so much. It's so lovely and I'm so excited to have my own copy of it. This story is so lyrical, beautiful, immersive, atmospheric. It reminds me of the feeling in fall if, say, like your hometown has some festival and you go to that festival and you think of like the smells of the different foods and the sounds and the mystery, if it's more like a circus type set. I don't know. It's so good. And I cannot wait to reread this at some point in the future because it's so wonderful. And I'm excited to have a copy so I can loan it out to friends who maybe haven't enjoyed this story yet. It is just like, I love it. I love Erin Morgenstern so much. So this was my number 1 book of 2019. And I am currently reading The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. It took her several years to put out another book. But I can see why, because she puts so much effort into them. I mean, I'm sure it takes a lot of work to write that lyrically and atmospheric. I mean, it's honestly like she's writing with magic. It just takes you somewhere. I don't know. It just does. So those are all my favoritist books. Favoritist? Is that a word? I don't know. But those are my favorite books from 2019. Let me know down below what your top book from 2019 was. So just your favorite book that just blew your mind and you loved it. Let me know down below because that'll give me some really good recommendations as well. Also, let me know if there are any books of these that I mentioned that you really loved or didn't love. If you have differing opinions from me, certain ones that I mentioned, I was like, I love this book, and you're like, oh my goodness, I hated it. Let me know. I would love to hear. On this side of the video over here is my logo. If you click on that, you can subscribe to my channel and follow me on my book journey. On this side of the screen over here is another video if you want to watch another one right now. But thank you so much for watching. You rock, and don't forget to keep reading. Bye!